So I'm going to kick things off right away here with a great big shout out to Maximal 10 and Ultra Megatronus, because I was not planning originally to take a look at this. It is the Deluxe Class Elita-1, and as a matter of fact, when I looked at the Wave 2 Deluxes, I very quickly went through Tarantulas, Wild Rider, and Knockout, and I said I'm not going to be looking at her because I was very happy with the Power of the Primes one. I know a lot of people aren't happy with that one, but I like that, and I wasn't in for this because I said, as good as I think it is, and I think this is probably better than the Netflix one, as good as I think this is, I said it's more expensive than the Voyager one that I have. It's smaller, and it's more expensive. I couldn't wrap my head around paying more for less. I can't do it. But nevertheless, this ended up coming my way, and I'm actually really happy it did, because while it is quite small, and while I do certainly believe it's overpriced, I gotta say, man, she's pretty great, and she's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of those in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member at any time. And this is Legacy Elita-1. I was holding out for this mold for Minerva, but having her kind of come my way, I'm okay with that. I think the articulation here is pretty darn acceptable. I think the look is okay, though a bit stylized, and we'll get into those details. And then we get to the transformation, and we'll certainly be talking about that. There's a lot here, there's a lot more here to explore than I originally thought about. So, without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at her. And so, very unexpectedly, we're getting around to finishing off Wave 2 of the Legacy Deluxes. It's been a while. A lot of things came down the pike that really sort of interfered with me getting to Elita-1, but a big shout out to both Ultra Megatronus and Maximal 10. It is really the combined efforts of those guys that I have her and that I'm taking a look at her. I wasn't originally going to get her, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Before we look at her, though, we gotta look at that packaging first. And here we have nice packaging for Elita-1. We can see her car mode here. Over here, robot mode, close-up of her face. And the usual Legacy artwork over there on the back, the product images, and the QR code if you want to go to the website thing and see her tech specs and whatnot. She got a bunch of big, bold instructions. I mean, I guess they're fine. I never used them. And here we have Elita-1. She comes with two of these translucent sword things. I have one put in a peg hole right there over on this side. By the way, there's a handle that you can hold on to, and then two more pegs on the sides. Actually, this one has ports. This one has two more pegs on the sides. Huh, interesting. I guess so that they can go together and be a double-barreled whatever. They can go on her hands, fine. Go here. They can go on her legs or under her arm, which is very interesting. And I guess I'll point it out now since I just noticed it literally right now. I guess if you want, you could always put them together like that if you wanted to do that. She also comes with technically the top of her head. The horns are not picked out in white like they are up here. They're just still pink. But in vehicle mode, like the top of her head is visible. So I get why they did it, right? It's a weird thing. Luckily, you can put it in here, and if you don't want to ever remove it again, you don't ever have to remove it again. You will notice I have these pieces already down. Yes, I am fully aware that they're supposed to be like rotated up like this, say, but I feel like when they're up like that on both sides, that it looks very much like Minerva more than Elita-1. I feel like having them down like they are now on this side. Yes, she has a big backpack, but she didn't have these shoulder things in G1. And I get it, people say, yo, but this is Legacy Elita, blah, blah, blah. It's G1, let's get realistic, right? Let's be realistic here. Stop splitting hairs. We all know what the inspiration is here. So I feel like having it down looks more like the original animation, if we're being perfectly honest. I will note now, with this up, it does not affect articulation because we still have this here that would stop the arm from going back any further. Bear that in mind when we get to the articulation, that even with this up, it makes no difference. So for me, because I like things to be as animation accurate as, you know, as they can be, I'm gonna leave that down. What about scores for her? Well, let's get something straight right away. With her swords and her extra top of her head, she still comes in at kind of a paltry 66 grams of plastic for what was 40 bucks here in Canada. That's expensive when we're down now a good 20 grams from what we were when we were paying half the price or less. So something to note. I wasn't originally going to get her because whereas the Legacy is 40 bucks Canadian, the Deluxe, or the Voyager, I'm sorry, was only 30. She had significantly more mass. She still had fine articulation. I know a lot of people hate the fact that she turned into a plane. They hate the mold, but it was a Voyager. It was bigger. It was more product for 30 bucks. What we have now is less product for 40 bucks. I can't get behind paying more for less. Sorry, not gonna happen. But if you don't have, or really for some reason detested, the Voyager, even though the Voyager could also become a combiner torso on top of an alt mode, on top of being bigger. But if you missed it or you didn't want it and your debate has been the Netflix or the Legacy, then I think hands down Legacy is the way to go. Not to say she's perfect. If we start from her feet and start working our way up the body, the feet should be pink, but they should be boots that extend up partway on the shin, and then the rest of the shin should be white. We should also have pink on the side over here. I don't hate the red. I'm okay with it, but there's definitely missing paint apps of white and pink there. Or fuchsia. We'll call the dark pink fuchsia. The knees are supposed to be that fuchsia color. Cool. The thighs, they should be white. The pelvis with the red, that by right should probably be the fuchsia color as well, with a couple of pink highlights. The torso, that should be, or the tummy, that should be white. The upper torso, that's mostly accurate, but again, we're missing some pink paint apps. The head is really good. When we get to the arms, the hands should be white. The forearms should be this pink. The bicep should be this same pink with white highlights, but I don't hate a white bicep. And up here should also be this same color pink, not the fuchsia. But you know what? I get it. We have multiple shades of pinks and reds intermixed here with white. It's all right, but it's definitely stylized. I like it, but I have to be objective and score it at about a 7.5 because it is stylized, and there are even parts of her body, like her shins, that obviously look like a different Transformer. So 7.5, bit of a rough start, but that doesn't mean that all the news is bad. In fact, the articulation is quite excellent. Let's do that next. It goes left and right for the head. A little wiggle up and down, not much though. The arms can, you know, they can go up that far with the shoulder piece down. Back this far. Remember what I said, we still have a red piece in here, so it still wouldn't be able to go back any further. Nice deep elbow over 90 degrees, love it. Bicep swivel, wrist rotation. We have a very free-flowing waist that I like. Leg can go all the way forward. Can't really go back too much. A little bit of a bummer there. The legs can go out this far to the side. Should really get that one in. This far to the side. It's all right. It's as far as you're going to want, even though it's not full. Thigh swivel. Knee to 90 degrees. Deep ankle tilt. It has most of what I would want. I wish the arm could go all the way around. I wish the legs could do full splits, but honestly, small price to pay for everything else working as well as it does. I'm going to say that whereas her look is a 7.5 because it is kind of stylized, I think the articulation is a solid, I think it's a solid 9.25, a couple of, maybe even a 9.5, let's say a 9.5. So right now, if we balance that out, right, 9.5, 7.5, right now she's at 8.5. Pretty darn good. I mean, I think she's overpriced, but pretty darn good. Let's do the transformation. Not gonna lie, haven't bothered to look at the instructions. I just figured it out. That's half the fun of these things, right? The head, I'm gonna turn around. I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but I know that the first time I transformed her and didn't do it, Starscream wife hated it and said, not only does she have like a visible head, but like you could see it from multiple angles. You can see it right from when you look on straight on the car. At least this way, it's a little bit better. Not much, but a little bit better. We're gonna take this whole section up here and flip this out, and we're gonna take the whole hood up over like this. Again, if these were up, you would have to bring them down. We're going to turn the arm so that the hole is on the outside, and we're going to put that little tab in there. We're going to do the same thing here, and we're going to bring the arm up so that the little tab is there. These red pieces are just over the arm. We're going to spin the waist if you didn't do it already, and we're going to come in here and open out a flap, and come in here and open out a flap. You can see there's two little pieces. They'll go tabbed on over here. We're going to take the knee and bring it all the way up. We're going to take this knee and we're going to bring it all the way up. When we do so, we do have a couple of tabs here that'll go in kind of behind the wrist, and we're going to tab on these sections up here. Hopefully this will work nice and smoothly for us. It usually does. Yeah, there you go. And then we're going to take the feet, and the feet are going to just fold in on the back and fold in on the back. By the way, I haven't heard one soul complain about feet on the back here. Yet for some reason it was a major catastrophe with Ironhide and Ratchet. Even though I think it's worse here because the feet aren't even the same color. But whatever, it is what it is. I'm going to take her blasters, and I don't know, let's put them in up here, and let's put the other one in up here. But in the end, boom, here we have Elita-1 in her beautiful car mode. And you know what? This isn't bad. I think the transformation's fantastic. I'm giving it a 10. She was getting an 8.5. The transformation's a 10 because you know what? Everything moves. Like, even the arms need to be in a specific position, and the legs, they do combine or wars up, but you gotta turn the waist around, and then you can turn her head around. Every part kind of moves, so I dig it. It's not hard, it's very intuitive. 10, so 8.5 and a 10, she's a solid, say 9.25, maybe even 9.5. She's a fantastic Elita. I can't wait to get it as Minerva. I do think she's overpriced for what you're getting though. Really, really do believe that. Starting from the front and working our way back, I do wish that the headlights were yellow, but I'm okay with all of the white paint and stuff that is here on the front. The pink here in the center is right. Going back, all of the hood is generally right. The even the red here should probably be fuchsia, but I'm okay with it being red. The pink coming down the sides here, all good. There should be some white detailing on the outside of the door, but I'm okay with it. This up here is fine. This up here is fine. Other than I wish we had the white around the center of her forehead, I guess, and white on her little horns. You could do it yourself, I suppose. And back here in the sea of red, some of that, certainly these sections here, should be pink. I don't detest it. I don't have a huge problem with it, but it's why we marked her down for her coloration, right? It's where her weak spot is. That was the 7.5. I think there should have been maybe a couple of different color options or paint apps that were applied, something like that. But she's great just the way she is, and we even have the tires filled in, which honestly, I'll give up the pink here to have the tires filled in. She rolls pretty darn well. Not bad, not a lot of clearance, but she does roll well. I think that she's an absolute success. What a way to cap off Wave 2 of Legacy, and one that absolutely surprised me because she was gonna be the skip over. And here we are once again, and here we have the leader of the female Autobot resistance, Optimus Prime's girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I mean, maybe I could like kind of use her as Ariel and keep the Power of the Primes one as my Elita-1. I don't know. Even now, I like that the POTP one can combine. We still have Orthea. I absolutely adore that. Maybe I could have Elita-1 like switch between bodies or something. This is good. Now I do leave these pieces down because I find having them extended up over her shoulders makes her look far more like Minerva, and I see it and I'm like, that's Minerva. But with them down, I feel like it's more the silhouette of Elita-1. There's a fair amount of paint, most of the white, certainly on the front here and on her head. The silver, the yellow, the face sculpt is beautiful. I think of all three, she has the absolute best face sculpt. I think her proportions are good. Now, I've heard of some people having the head stuck on the ball joint. I've had that happen before. I had it happen with Run Amok, Runabout, one of them. I can't remember which one now. And I've heard some people do some fixes, take the screw out of the back of the head, a little bit of shaving up underneath. Ninja Bill did it, actually. Shout out to Ninja Bill. And I like this. I feel like from the knees up, she's especially good, but as I kind of outlined, her coloration is a bit stylized. And I think it's a bit stylized because, again, this is more intended for Minerva. The Power of the Primes I like because of its size. It has the wrong alt mode. Then we have the Netflix one, which just didn't land with me. I didn't like the beige, and then you had the jarring white. It was too much of an obvious body for RC for me. It didn't land for me. I think it's the weakest. And then we have this one that I think is pretty good. I probably would have streamlined some of the pink choices and kept it to, you know, because like you have a dark pink here, a light pink, and a red along with the white. It gets busy as far as I'm concerned. I probably would have cut out one shade. Maybe, arguably. I like her. Is she perfect? No. Is she overpriced? Yeah, a little bit. Do I think of all of Wave 2 that this is the one you should wait for a sale on? Absolutely wait for a sale on her. If you see a sale, should you get her? I think so. I think she's definitely worth having in collection. If you don't have any Elita-1, this is going to be your go-to. Certainly the easiest one to get in the modern era. If you have previous Elita-1s and you've been on the fence about this one, like I said, wait for a sale because she is definitely fun. Let me know what you think about Legacy Elita-1. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member at any time. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, stick around, and have some fun with us. And especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way, right here, inside the videos.